Hi everybody, this is the second video for the week starting on July the 28th. Made a mistake in the previous video and I referred to this as July the 18th, no, July the 28th. So today's Thursday of the week starting on July the 28th, and the assignment is due tomorrow at 1 p.m. Laredo time, right? Just be careful because even in Texas we have different times. In El Paso, for example, El Paso is in a different time zone than Laredo. And I don't ask for this to be difficult. It's just that we have to have some sort of reference to be able to ascertain whether a submission was late or not. So 1 p.m. Laredo time, you can find out very easily what the time is, regardless of where you are in the world. Just, you can go to Google and Google time in Laredo now, and you're going to find out what time is in Laredo. I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on that issue that I discussed in a previous video, which is related to AI, right, and using AI in assignments. But before, let me just go back here and make a couple of remarks. One is that what Babitha did was good. He just replied to his own submission to himself, and then I have right here at the bottom all that is needed, including the results of the reanalysis, now employing the linear algorithm. I'll talk a little bit more about linearity and nonlinearity in a future video. So what Babitha did was good. Now regarding the commentaries, the ideal commentary would be one that would follow the example, right? Which here. So in every module, I mentioned this. You could discuss how a particular organization could use a similar type of analysis. And a natural choice here would be the organization that you currently work at or an organization you worked for. So I would say this is the ideal commentary, Taufik, this part here, because here there was a discussion that is very specific to the experience of the student. So no one would be able to say, oh, this was generated completely by AI, because it's just too specific to the person's situation, Taufik's situation. So no challenge regarding AI. I'll talk a little bit more in a few seconds regarding AI. And contrast this with a discussion that is more generic, like a discussion that summarizes the analysis, right? So this commentary here by Babitha is not the ideal, but it's acceptable. He got A in this assignment. He got the full grade, but it's not the ideal because it's essentially summarizing what the analysis did. Instead of talking from your first-hand experience about how a similar analysis could lead to interesting results in your specific situation. So the problem here is that someone could say, oh, this was generated by AI. Now let me address this particular issue. The problem with AI use in assignments today has historical precedents. One of them is actually behind the success of a company called Texas Instruments, Texan. So this is a company that has been around for a very long time. And in the beginning, when the company was started in the 80s, this company did something unique. They developed calculators that engineers could use to perform complex calculations for applications in civil engineering, mechanical engineering, and electrical engineering. And in those days, engineering schools, they would be like schools in general today are. They would be accredited, certified. And accreditation agencies, auditing agencies, they would expect professors to include certain things in exam and assignments that would make the students demonstrate that they understood how the calculations were done. The problem with Texas Instruments calculators was that students who did not have that basic knowledge, using the calculators that were so powerful, they could actually get the correct results. And that would be something that accreditation and auditing agencies, agencies that audit universities, would complain about. They would basically say, yeah, there is no way you can tell that your students are really learning how to do these complex calculations if they use these Texas Instruments calculators. So there was a period where there would be a lot of issues, and professors, not necessarily because they wanted, but because they were forced to do that, they would require students not to use the calculators, because with the calculators you would get the results of a complex calculation would be correct, and often that's what professors would use for grading. So if you did the calculations without the calculators, using other tools like special rulers and to a certain extent by hand. So if you did that, you would end up not getting the correct results, so that would allow professors to grade you and generate a normal distribution of grades. So this is what happened, and Texas Instruments actually became so successful. So you can see historically this is a very successful company. Texas Instruments became successful in large part due to their dominance of this market of calculators, which is now a dying market for them. They're going to other things. Like most technology companies, they had this bubble here in the 2000. This is the tech bubble burst, right? So like most technology companies, they had this, but look how they have been doing so well over the years. Texas Instruments is not only about calculators, but the fact that they still have that business, they still sell those calculators, and they are considered the standard, allow them to actually go into different areas and do very well as a company over the years. So having a dying business for a company is not necessarily a bad thing, as long as that's not the only thing you do. And so Texas Instruments also has historically been known for a company that produces components, electronic components, all kinds of components like resistors, inductors, capacitors. So they are known to have to manufacture the components of the highest quality. They don't compete with NVIDIA on GPUs. That's not an area that they operate in, but they have been benefiting from the success of NVIDIA lately, because there is that they use some of those chips, GPUs by NVIDIA and other companies to actually manufacture boards, which are still used in a variety of applications. So it's not all integrated central processing units or graphical processing units, which are produced in a process of through a process of lithography, which is very sophisticated. And it's actually, there was a company in Europe that manufactures the machines that are used by companies like NVIDIA to manufacture their GPUs, and these are in the hundreds of millions of dollars, these machines that produce these integrated central processing units and integrated circuits in general. Texas Instruments is in a different space, so they manufacture components that are bigger and that are used in cars, for example, heavily used in cars. In fact, the downturn here more recently may be due to the car industry having problems sourcing their parts and raising prices because of the tariffs. But this is speculation on my part, but I think that's the case. So this happened in the past. So let's think about AI today. So professors today are in the same situation. So we have our ways of grading what students do, and we are expected by auditing and accreditation agencies, and there is an accreditation agency called SACS that if we don't pass our accreditation, our auditing review with them, and this happens every several years, we have to close the university. So accreditation agencies are very influential with the universities, and they audit courses, or they tell other people to audit courses. So this course, for example, that you're taking with me is getting audited by at least one other person. It could be someone in the provost office, or it could be someone in OIT, or someone from an outside organization that is doing the review. So someone else other than the students, someone who has an interest in this is auditing my course. And if they see any evidence that students are doing things using AI to generate part of the assignments, Warp PLS, the analysis cannot be done with AIs, but the commentary can. And if they see evidence, then they will complain. A little bit like the auditing agencies complain with engineering schools in universities about the use of calculators in Texas Instruments. Today, when we look back, engineering schools, the students have access to things that are much more powerful than calculators. In fact, Texas Instruments calculators are a dying breed because of computers, right? And particularly, one thing that particularly caused problems for the Texas Instruments calculators was the development of spreadsheets, which is something that also caused issues with accreditation agencies for universities. Professors were not allowed to allow students to use spreadsheets. And when we look back at these innovations today, we were like, everybody uses these things. So with AI, what we'll probably see in the future is that AI will be extensively used in assignments. And we'll probably find other ways of grading assignments other than creating difficulties for students. As I said, I did not include in the syllabus any objection to the use of AI, and I said that the commentaries are free. So Babita's commentary here is, even though it's not the ideal would be a more specific, personalized one. This is fine with me. And if an auditor complains, I will hold my ground and I'll say, look, this is what is in the syllabus. I cannot keep changing rules based on what I see in the assignments, which are fine. In fact, the class is doing very well. So this is what I wanted to talk about today. I don't see any specific question. I did get an email from Babitha, and I just suggested to him to reply to his own submission, which he did. Thank you. And this is something you can always do if you submit an assignment on time, but then you notice that there is something wrong. You can always resubmit it by doing what Babitha did, replying to your own submission. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing the submissions for the assignment for this week tomorrow by 1 p.m. Laredo time. Thank you.